Alright, morning guys. So welcome back to NZ Marko Kustoms. So about to get into that thing again, but I don't know if you can see in the background there. That could be the next sort of side project every now and again. The owner Studebaker bought it at the weekend for $800 in New Zealand. It's pretty complete, but it's okay. Obviously, all the body panels are all aluminium or aluminum, but the rest of it looks a bit crunchy. So we're going to try and see if we can get it running. So it'll be a will it run video coming up at some point. We'll see if we can get it running. It's the original, I think the side valve motor, or I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know a lot about them. Dad had one exactly the same when I was young. We had a wee holiday house up, if you know where Queenstown is in New Zealand. Well, there's a little town that's not far from there, Arrowtown. So back in the late 80s, I guess, I would have been a teenager, I guess, because I did drive it up there once, not long after I got my licence. But yeah, Dad had one for quite a few years. It just used to stay at the little holiday house in the garage, and we used to, because a lot of little four-wheel drive tracks around there, we used to tootle around with it, and a whole heap of us pile on the back, and you know, a few ice boxes, chili bins, eskies, whatever you guys want to call it, a little bit of food and whatever, and a barbecue, and you'd go out into the hills through the rivers and bits and pieces and have a barbecue for the day and muck around and then trundle back home again every now and again. But yeah, Dad probably hasn't had it since, I don't know, maybe early 2000s, I guess. I think he sold it because it just sort of used to sit there and get used once or twice a year, if you know what I mean. Maybe a little bit more often than that. But yeah, so the owner of the Studebaker picked up the weekend at a must be one of the farms somewhere in the, well, let's say the local-ish area in this province, Southland. Must be having clearing sale. I think somebody must have passed away or something like that, and they're getting rid of a whole heap of stuff and junk that was on the farm. And that was one of the things that was there, so he bought it. So yeah, that might be a little side project every now and again, just to throw in the mix, just to fill in between. Maybe if we're waiting on parts or something like that, we'll play, get it running, and then see what it needs done. It's probably going to need a bit of chassis work because they're notorious for rotting out. I'm pretty lucky here because we don't have the salt in the roads, but still, it was in one of those areas that was closer to the ocean or sea, and I can see even when you walk around the front, she's a bit crunchy in a few spots. So, but all the parts available for the old girls, and it is original running gear as far as we know. So yeah, it'd be worth having a wee play with and see if we can get it up and running, and if we can get it running and it runs okay, it might be worth having a play with because it's worth a few dollars in decent condition. I don't know what it's really worth, but you know, it's one of those things. It's what somebody prepared to pay for it. But yeah, it'll be a little side project every now and again. Anyway, we'll get back onto this. So I think what we'll do first is we'll finish welding it. We'll make the patch for here. Finish the other patch for here, and we'll give that a good clean up. Knock all the welds off it, and then we will get rid of the bracing, and we'll start with this because I'm still waiting on. I thought the shrinker stretcher heads might have turned up Friday-ish because these turned up early last week. They were here sort of late Friday, but I didn't see them until Monday, and then we realised the heads were missing, so we reordered them because we forgot to order them. Well, didn't forget, just ordered not the complete kit. So yeah, they should be here hopefully today or tomorrow with any luck. So yeah, then we can carry on with these pieces, but we'll get this stuff sorted today, and we'll get that pan out and start measuring that up and see how much of this we can actually make through there. I'm not quite sure. We might be missing maybe a bead. I don't know. We'll just have to see what the max depth is, because we got where's a ruler? Let's have a wee look. Man, I thought I had a frickin' the end of that tape here somewhere. Did have. I need to have a clean up again. God, I've got so much shit here everywhere now. It's frickin' getting difficult to find anything again. Yeah. The frick's that tape? See what I mean? Anyway, this will do. Let's use this short bit. So we've got the maximum depth of, say out to here somewhere, roughly where, depending on obviously where the dial piece sits. Can we get half of it? Oh yeah, we might. Yeah, we might get it all. Might get all the beads, because we might, if we struggle one way, we might better get the other one the other direction. So we should get them all. That's cool. With turn out 90. Anyway, get these patches finished, welded in. Have a reshuffle, put some bits and pieces back on there. Get all this crap off. Get that seat pan out and at least start with that. Righty. Right, so I got that welded in. I've got to fix up a few pinholes, but I think what I'll do is I'll get this other stuff on, get the bracing on the rope. So I want to do a little bit of hammer and dolling in there because it's pulled in a little bit in a couple of spots. It's not bad, but then I can give it a little bit of hammer and dolly, give it another wee grind off to get some of these other higher spots off that are pulled in a little bit. Do a little bit more welding, fill a few bits that I've missed, give it another clean off, and then just double check it with the hammer and dolly again. And I'm about to do this piece, so I've got that roughly formed. That was just the excess that was hanging off there, so we'll cut that off and we'll weld it on. I got a little bit of trimming down the side and whatever, just made it a little bit big. So we'll get that welded on, and then we'll make that other piece, and then we'll get welded this bracing, the strap, and that bit of tube. We'll get that out of the road. We should better get that off in between doing all the other little bits of dial up and clean up and whatever. And then, yeah, we can make that, which would be awesome. So yeah, we'll carry on with there. Should have to paint this afternoon for this thing too, the colour. So we'll better have a wee look at that. Like we only had the bit of underlying metal that we got to colour off. So we'll better do a wee bit of a comparison just to check when it comes back. So yeah, we'll better do that as well later. But yeah, so we're getting there. So we'll carry on. I'll stop waffling. Right. Finish taking this off now that I've got myself sorted for something else. Apart from a repair there, the rest of it's not that bad. Yeah, so it's not too bad. Like obviously we're going to repair that piece. Like this, obviously doing a little bit of hammer and dollying. If I can get this out, I will. I just need to sit down and work out to see whether we can slip this in from the back. We'll have to do a little bit of measuring and just see whether this distance will work and whether we can get it over that to slip it in, or we might leave that in, make another piece, slip that underneath there like this, weld along that edge up in there, plug weld that, and then put this outer skin on and build some little tabs, and probably put them on here first, little corner tabs that we just cut off. Put some little corner tabs in there and then slip the other piece over and then plug weld it and grip it somehow and weld it in. But yeah, so we're kind of just about, the body is way stronger. I've still got to do some cleanup, grinding and whatever. I'm not too panicked yet. But yeah, we're getting closer. It's pretty clean in there really. Now we'll give it a bit of a run around with the wire brush and we'll give it a bit of a clean up, and we'll flip a bit of that rust protection stuff in there, a bit of that zinc or the etch it or whatever, even the black stuff. We'll blow it in around here underneath, so it's not just bare steel like they had it. And yeah, go from there I guess. But it's pretty light gauge, that stuff. Let's have we look before I run away for lunch if the missus turns up shortly. I did bring lunch just in case she was late. She had to go into town to do some jobs and she wasn't sure how long she was going to be in there. Hopefully she's not too long, because I'm hoping to clear my shed out. Right. So this stuff is on millimeters, it is on millimeters. Yeah, it's 0.7 or something like that. I'll have a decent, get it properly, but I'll throw it back up on the tripod and I'll throw it back up here and have a wee look. Might be 0.9. Might just say thin down here, it's got thinner. Yeah, it's 0.9, I think. So not just one grade lower than that one. That might be 20. That's 19. So a little heavier won't hurt. little heavier one here. It won't take too much to fold that up. And run some bead roll in there. Sweet. Alright. One seat pan in the flesh. Right, let's have a wee look at bead roller and just work out which die we're going to use. Righty guys, so I'm going to play with the bead roller. I've got the biggest bead on there, obviously, and I've got it so it goes up, just so I don't have to draw shit on the other side. But we'll just going to test pass. I just want to see what the speed's like with this thing, and obviously get a depth and whatever else. Just get a feel for it. So we'll go down 1 and 2. And I've got that set about half to the speed, I think. It goes up to, it says 50, or whatever that is, whether that's revolutions a minute or whatever it is, I don't know. Like 50 feet, and oh, I wouldn't have a clue. So we'll try it at 20 on here and just see how fast that is, I guess. It's not bad for depth. I don't think it's any much more deeper than that. Will we compare to the original? I know it's not exactly the same, it's nowhere near wide enough. Well, it'd probably be that width, probably half that width again if you know what I mean. But you can only do what you can do without making one up. I think next year or something like that, early next year, I'll order some more. I'll order some tipping dies and stuff like that for it. Yeah, so it needs to be about half that width again-ish. But I think that's more than enough. 2 turns down. From when I wound it down till the rollers sort of touched to put enough pressure on it, and wound it down 2 turns. I think that's pretty good. I think that'll do. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I might just slow it down a little bit. Still get a hang of it. Drop it down to about, let's say 15. So I'll set it up in the first one, and we'll go from there. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Oh. That's a bit stronger. Excellent. Excellent. Now, I know you can run it through the English wheel and it will help flatten it back out again. I have never done that before. So we might do a little play with that. Right, so I'm part way there. We're going to bend these edges out in the morning. I might have to relax these a little bit, and I'll have to take the piece of angle on off the front of that bender, folder, whatever you want to call it, finger brake, so I can bend those other pieces out. Just done that on me. I'm not really sure. I haven't done much of that pre-stretching with bead rolling. I don't really understand it. So if anybody understands how that works, or anybody that's got a good video on it, it'd be nice to know. Like I can probably hammer and dolly it a little bit to make it relax, I guess. I'm not really sure. I know you got to pre-stretch it so when it bends and gathers and it doesn't pull it out. That's why I thought I'd run in between it before and cross the ends, but yeah, it didn't really do anything. I'm not too stressed about it. It'll pull down and sort itself out, and by the time you spotlight it onto those braces and whatever, and it'll sort itself out, and I'll maybe if I come around and hammer and dolly a bit around the ends or something like that, that might work itself out. But we're part way there. At least that's not full of holes, except for we do have to drill some holes in it, obviously for drainage. Get these flanges bent over. I think we might have to cut these off and weld them back on, but yeah, because I don't think we'll get it to slip in like that big twist. I don't think we'll get it to slip in. If you didn't have to bead roll it, it might have worked, but I think that would be a real bitch fight. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge tomorrow. So, morning again. I'm guessing I'm halfway through a video. I'm in the middle of editing yesterday's stuff, so maybe do a new video, maybe not. But so when we left yesterday, we'd bent up the seat pan. It's got a bit of a twist in it. I am still to work out whether I can just pull it down in there and not have to worry about untwisting it, or I may have to go around with a hammer and dolly around some of these pieces. I'm guessing to get it to sit down flat, because as it stretches the metal here, it's also shrinking the metal in between. I'm guessing that's how it works with using a bead roller. The only other time I really used a bead roller was when I was doing work on the 66 Dodge or Plymouth Fury when I was in Australia. Dodge Phoenix, they call them in Australia because they're right-hand drive. But it's basically Plymouth Fury, four-door sedan. And I was replacing some sections of the floor and the few sections in the boot and the drop-down pieces in the rear quarters. Used the bead roll to make a lot of that sort of stuff to put all the strength back in it. Same sort of principle. And most of the time I got away without having to take the twist out of it. Righty, so while the paint sort of dries in here, because I was going to wet up, but the fumes were getting to me while the paint was drying. So now I've got my shrinker stretchers. I turned up this morning, you might have seen in a clip when I was mucking around, depends on whether I edited it out or not. They turned up, so I'm going to start shrinking these pieces into get close to the right shape, because I'll have to take the bit of metal bracing out of here because it's poked out here and it might tuck in behind just. And worst comes to worst, I'll just cut the corner off a little bit just to get this in here. But we'll start making this while just let that dry a bit more. So yeah, I just spent a couple of minutes setting that stuff up. It's probably not too far away, to be honest, but we'll just let it dry off a little bit more, and we can weld that up and grind that off properly. I just tacked it in so it's in the right place, and then we'll come along and we'll just run the grinder along there and just take a little bit extra width off it. So I made it a little bit wide, but you'll play with this and we'll see if we can at least start getting this fitted. So we'll do that. So I'll move you over here and we'll do a little bit of shrinking and hammer and doling and whatever, and see if we can make this thing fit. Right. So the red one's a shrinker. It's got the arrows that point in, so I'm guessing that means shrink. We'll find out, I guess. Righty, so I've got this basically fitting. It might need a little more hammer and dolly work, but it's basically fitting there. The other thing, before we put that in permanently, I will quickly bolt up the rear fender again, just to make sure we haven't got something the wrong shape. But if I sit that in there, it looks pretty good. Also, I've got a bit of excess and whatever, but yeah, it's close to the right shape if I've got that beaten back to the right direction. So we will play with that probably after lunch or later in the afternoon. I'll get this welded and after lunch. I've started making a pattern for that inner piece of that other corner. It's all rotted away. So I've got the rough template for that made there. So we'll cut that out too later. But yeah, after lunch I think we'll weld this in, clean that up, and then get that on there. And all going good, I think. Somewhere 2:30, 3 o'clock ish. By the time we muck round, and we're probably gonna have to cut that edge off and that edge off and put that underneath there and tack it on and whatever, and muck around a bit, get it together, and then obviously we'll have to draw a few plug welds for there. Might leave that until after it's on there, because when we turn out the other way we can see where that is. We can cut that off and dress it up and whatever. I'm not quite sure why that's there, but we'll work that out later. So yeah, we'll get all that on after lunch, and then we can go back and concentrate on these rear corners. We'll get that one cleaned up, and then we'll move to this one. And obviously we've got a bit of grinding up and cleaning up to do here, but you know, we can do that at some point. There's plenty of time yet to grind up and finish up, clean up whatever it is left over there. I think I still might have the old pinhole that I've got to touch up yet before we flip it up the other way. But yeah, another day and maybe a little bit, and I think we should have this beat for this way up, and then we can flip it over. So it's Tuesday, so maybe Wednesday, Thursday we might better get it up the other way. Just depends on obviously how this goes, because it took quite a while to make that one, but know how to do it now. It's the heavy gauge, so it takes a bit of beating. Well, that's 1.6, and yeah, we should be actually, once we get that cut out and worked out. Actually no, I didn't use the 1.6 on that, I used that stuff. Yeah, there might be enough there, because I've got another piece of that. Oh, I cut it up, didn't I? Well, hopefully, yeah, we hopefully don't need so much in this corner. But yeah, there might be enough there to do that. Out of this, yeah, it should be plenty. To make another piece like that. Yeah, and then we've just got a couple of corners and whatever. So yeah, hopefully we'll get enough out of that 19 gauge to finish these bits. We should be good, I think. We'll be close. Be nice not to have to go buy another sheet just yet. We'll have to go get one because we'll need it for the guards and stuff, but at least then we can get, well, I'd have to double check the thickness, but at least we can chuck a lot of that stuff over there and we can get that chassis home. But yeah, we're getting close. Anyway, we'll see after lunch and we'll get that in. we'll go again. We're ready to put that on. It looks a wee bit wonky. I'll see how to lift it up in the corners and whatever, all on the edges. Hopefully it'll be alright. It took me about an hour and a half from when I started videoing that video on the last clip, just to get everything sorted and set and tweaked and whatever, and where I'm happy. I would like to get that bow out of it, but I don't really know how to do it properly. So I'll just do what I know, and one day I'll figure that out, or somebody will tell me how to pre-stretch for bead rolling, or stretch it afterwards, one of the two, if you know what I mean. But I think by the time I'm finished and it's had a few loads of shit in it, nobody will even know anyway. So we'll get it welded on, and then we'll weld those seams, and we'll just have to just keep pulling it up with a screwdriver or whatever. But we'll get into it, and we'll see when I'm finished that. We'll talk to you anyway. Oh well, I started cleaning up, and the person that was trying to find me yesterday turned up. So I'm about to head home. But yeah, so we'll finish cleaning this up tomorrow, and we'll probably have to touch up a few little welds and whatever. It was a bit unfortunate I had to do it like this, but at the end of the day, it won't matter. Just sometimes it's the easiest way to do it. But yeah, so we will carry on and see you in the morning, I guess. Get the last of this cleaned up, and then we'll dig into that back corner and get that finished, and then we'll hook into this side at the back. And that should be the 90% of the rust fixed. There's a couple of little other spots up on the top side, and I think there's a couple of little, like there's a few cracks and stuff to weld up and bits and pieces like that. Oh, and these little pieces in here, both sides. There's a few little bits like that, but that's about all that's left on the main shell. So we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll carry on from there. If this is the end of the video, I don't know. Thanks for watching anyway. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. If not, see you tomorrow. Subs climbing nicely too, thanks everybody. That's much appreciated. And I'll go home and check my parcel out that somebody sent me. I'm guessing it's William from Solar Garage, but I'm not sure on that.